Welcome to another episode of Hazard Times Double Feature, where I'm talking about two movies that I found in rummage sales that you've probably never heard of. The two movies I'm talking about today are The O in Ohio, which I understood the title about halfway through the movie. It made sense to me. I'm not impressed. And also According to Spencer. So I'll start off with what I watched first. I just picked these at random. I have like 80 of these movies, and I just picked those at random because one of my movies didn't even work. It looked water damage, so I'm not sweating about it too much. Up first, I have The O in Ohio. It's got Parker Posey, Paul Rudd, Danny DeVito. Keith David has a little bit of a part, which is nice. Heather Graham and Misha Barton, Miranda Bailey. I don't know who Miranda Bailey plays in this. It's probably Parker Posey's friend. So this is basically, it's a married couple. Paul Rudd and Parker Posey are the married couple. They've been married for 10 years, and he's kind of depressed because he can't please his wife, in the bedroom, which kind of seems like a him problem. But the movie wasn't very good. The movie was kind of odd, a little weird. If you had told me that there was a movie that involved a love triangle between Paul Rudd, Parker Posey, Danny DeVito, and a high school student, I would not believe you. Because, what? But yeah, so Paul Rudd can't please Parker Posey in the bedroom, and he leaves her because she tries to, she seeks pleasure from artificial sources, and he doesn't like that, so he leaves her to date one of his students because Paul Rudd is a teacher, but it's okay because she's 18, so it's not weird at all. And Keith David is his friend, who's the gym teacher and the guidance counselor. Is that a thing? Do they just have guidance counselors just be random? Do they just have random teachers be guidance counselors with no experience at all? I feel like they do that with gym teachers as well. Isn't it like your gym teacher usually just the social studies teacher who just tells you to run around while he stands still and does nothing? I feel like that's at least my experience with gym teachers. Yeah, and then Danny DeVito plays the pool guy, who him and Parker Posey fall in love over the course of one night because they went down a slide together in a pool and started making out. True love. It was weird that it doesn't really do anything for Paul Rudd's character either. His story goes nowhere. He finds out that the high school student, his student that he's dating, gets accepted into Harvard, and then her father comes up to praise him for being such a good teacher. If only more teachers were like you. And you think maybe Paul Rudd's character is feeling a little guilty for this relationship, but they never explore that or address it or anything. His story just kind of not even abruptly ends. They just forget about him within the last 10 minutes because you get no resolution to his character at all. You see Parker Posey and Danny DeVito like living a happy life together, at least for a little bit. But okay, and as I said, it's a little weird, not all that interesting, kind of boring. I feel like I say that about all these things, just boring. Vaguely interesting out of just boredom. Like you're hoping that maybe something interesting might happen eventually, even though it doesn't really happen. Paul Rudd's okay in this. I feel like Paul Rudd, well, he's good in more serious roles. If you're not having Paul Rudd for comedic purposes, I feel like you're wasting Paul Rudd. I know there's a lot of actors who can do comedy and drama as well, and this was more of a romantic comedy, which is a genre that I don't care for, generally speaking. But I feel like you can have actors who do drama and comedy, but most of the time they're usually suited for one or the other. Uh, I think Paul Rudd is an actor that you want Paul Rudd in comedy. Paul Rudd's a very good comedic actor. Not that he's bad as a dramatic actor, but you're almost wasting the comedic skill that he has if you're just using him for drama, because there's a lot of good drama actors as well that you would get better performances out of than you would Paul Rudd. Again, not saying Paul Rudd is bad. Just it's almost wasting to not have Paul Rudd be the comedic role. Like Keith David is good too. He doesn't do anything special in this. He's not in it all that much. But Keith David. I like Keith David. He was the Thing. He was in The Thing. He's the voice of the Arbiter in Halo 2. You forget the Halo. The Halo games, not the Halo. The Halo games has a pretty decent voice cast. You got Keith David, Miguel Ferrer, Ron Perlman. Especially just Halo 2. I don't know so much about the Halo 3 voice cast. I feel like they got somebody to play the Prophet of Truth in Halo 3, because it's not the same as Halo 2. I don't remember. I feel like they got somebody. They didn't get Malcolm McDowell to play the Prophet of Truth in Halo 3, did they? That sounds close. Or maybe somebody similar. Tobin Bell. I have his face in my head, but I can't. Anyway, I'll move on. I don't even know what I was saying. I was talking about Keith David. Keith David's also in Saints Row. I believe he shows up in Saints Row 3. Maybe he's just in 4. I know for sure he's in 4. He might show up in 3. Because in 4, your character is the president and Keith David is the vice president. The Saints Row franchise really got wild there over time. They're making a new Saints Row game too as well, I think. So Liza Minnelli and Heather Graham are both in this. They don't really market Heather Graham being in this movie, even though she's in the movie more than Liza Minnelli. Liza Minnelli, Judy Garland's daughter, famous for being in Arrested Development. Liza Minnelli in Arrested Development, not Judy Garland. Judy Garland was not in Arrested Development. Liza Minnelli's only in this for one scene. It was kind of pointless. But Heather Graham shows up a couple times, and she's not really marketed in this. I never really understood what Heather Graham's place in Hollywood stardom is. How famous is she really? What's the role that she's most famous for? Probably a movie that I haven't seen. I mean, I just know her from a couple random movies here and there where she has a role. But what's her level of fame? It was always interesting to me. But yeah, that was The O in Ohio. Nothing special. There's a lot more that could be said about that movie that I'm just not going to say or talk about because of the topic in general. I kind of danced around it, but that's enough. Next up, I have According to Spencer. This movie, was at least better than The O in Ohio. Nothing special. It seemed like a generic romantic comedy. How did I end up with 2 romantic comedies in a row? Neither were all that funny, to be honest. I feel like the romantic comedy is a movie that doesn't age as well with time. Especially because there's usually some form of sketchiness or, that's a little weird. For example, Paul Rudd dating his high school student. Romantic comedies usually have stuff that don't age that well. Anyway, According to Spencer, this is a movie about a guy who hallucination conversations with his dead grandmother, but that's never really talked about and doesn't really matter in the movie. I don't know why they killed off the grandmother in the beginning. They could have just had her alive and had him have conversations with her, not in the afterlife. But, yeah, that's not the focus of the movie either. Just a weird thing that I noticed. I was like, why are they doing this? So, yeah, the main guy, Spencer, the titular character, so to speak, is played by Jesse Bradford, who I assume is nobody important, because I've never heard him before. He doesn't look familiar. He looks pretty generic white guy, and I've never heard of him or seen him in anything else. But anyway, he plays Spencer, who meets this girl that he knew. He meets this girl that he knew in kindergarten that he had a crush on, and he just tries to win her affections. Generic rom-com stuff happens, and then the movie ends. There were a couple people in this movie. Giovanni Ribisi had a small role in this. Was like, kind of the same stuff with Heather Graham. What's Giovanni Ribisi's? Am I even saying that right? What's his claim to fame? Because he was in a couple movies, and then he has a recurring role in a TV show, My Name is Earl. And it seems odd. Like, what's his career? What's his level of stardom? I don't know. His sister was in this as well. I didn't know he had a sister, but I guess she has a bigger part than him. I feel like there's someone else I'm forgetting is in this, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Also in this movie are David Krumholtz and Adam Goldberg. I feel like I did not pronounce David's last name correct, but they're both actually pretty good, and I do like Adam Goldberg. I've seen Adam Goldberg in a couple things at this point. The main thing, he was in the TV show The Unusuals, which only lasted for 1 season and 10 episodes, didn't even get finished. He plays the character who has a brain tumor, and he doesn't want to tell anybody about it. He doesn't want to seek medicine because he's afraid it's going to, limit his ability of what he can do. The Unusuals was a pretty good show, actually. I wish they had brought that up. I would highly recommend The Unusuals to anybody watching it. I think it was one of Jeremy Renner's first big things. I think he had this TV show directly before going into Hurt Locker, and Hurt Locker was the thing that made Jeremy Renner a name, so to speak, before eventually Avengers picked him up. Then Jeremy Renner became a household name. Well, that has nothing to do with this. I'm just saying Adam Goldberg is in this. He was in The Unusuals as well. I feel like he's a good character actor. He's been in a couple things here and there, random episodes. He was also in My Name is Earl. I'm just remembering this now. He played the suicidal guy that Earl tries to help. That's an interesting little connection there. Now, David Krumholtz. I think I confuse him with someone else. I know for a fact he was in the TV show Numbers, which is a show I like, but for whatever reason I can't really get into it too much. I've not seen the whole show. I'll watch a couple episodes here and there, but I'll never actually go through. The whole show. So they're in it. They're good. Their whole plot line is they are Spencer's roommates, and they're trying to make a film to win a film contest, and it's basically just a softcore porno is what they're filming. But yeah, their stuff is good. But really, the movie's it's nothing special. It's at least it's not offensive, and I guess it's not offensive. I guess that would be the best way to describe it, because when you're watching it, you don't feel bad about yourself for watching it. You don't wish you weren't watching it. You might wish you were watching something else, but you're not wishing you could turn this off and, go jump out the window. So it's better in that regard than a lot of other things I've seen. I mean, I can't think of anything significant to talk about with the plot of what happens. if I'm being completely honest. It's just Spencer works at a place, and he works at an advertising, which that's two advertising movies in a row. This and the NSYNC movie both had the main character work at an advertising firm, which that's now becoming an annoying trope for me, because they always, at both movies, the main character comes up with like a crazy advertising thing that works out and they get the promotion even though the boss didn't believe in him or whatever. Okay, so Spencer works at the advertising firm, and that's where his girlfriend, whoever, barely a character, also works. Well, not his girlfriend, his crush from kindergarten. And she's dating the jerk second in command boss, and he tries to woo her, and then eventually he does. I'd like to also mention the tagline for this movie. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm not going to show it in front of the camera. It's boy meets girl, girl makes friends, boy tries to win girl back. Which, that doesn't really make sense or work with the movie. Specifically the line, girl makes friends. Because she doesn't make friends in this. The only thing that it could be implying is that girl makes friends with the original boy. Which is not really saying that. Boy meets girl, girl makes friends, boy tries to win girl back. But at no point do they say that the boy lost the girl, or had the girl in the first place. It's like he's trying to win her back from what? I guess the logic would be. But even if it is saying girl makes friends with the boy, then he wouldn't be winning her back in that situation. I guess they're implying winning her back from just being friends. But anyway, crappy tagline, you crappy movie, you should be ashamed. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's all I've got to say about these two movies. Don't really recommend them. Probably going to forget about both of them, hopefully soon. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and tune in next time.